Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I'll just jump right into things. I want to start off by talking about Brooke Blurton. I know a lot of people out there like saying, okay, who? Yeah, but of course, me being me, I'm going to explain who Brooke is. Brooke was announced last month or a couple of months ago as the next Bachelorette contestant, Bachelorette Australia, that is. Apparently, the Bachelorette is such a popular entity that there's a version of it in over 30 countries. So we're talking specifically about the Bachelorette Australia. So I know several of you, or most of you, or all of you are wondering, like, why am I talking about the Bachelorette Australia or the Bachelorette at all? Never mind, I'll get to all of that. Anyway, Brooke Blurton was also a contestant on The Bachelorette a couple other times, but the difference is that she was on episodes of The Bachelor where she was a contestant and she was fighting for the heart of the bachelor, competing for the heart of the rose or whatever the guys give, anything like that. She was that on a couple of different episodes. Now, I didn't know that they kept bringing people back multiple times, but I don't really watch it like that, so I don't really know anything. But that was her gig. So now I guess she made such a good impression when she was on those previous seasons that now she's going to be the Bachelorette. So, and for people that don't know, like myself, who's never really watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know the premise of the show. Basically, there's a guy who's the bachelor or a woman who's the bachelorette, and they are given a group. The bachelor's given a group of women, and the bachelorette is given a group of men, and they make the men or women compete for their heart or whatever. And then at the end of the season, the bachelor or the bachelorette, they pick the most compatible person, whatever, and then they do whatever they do. And when I say do whatever they do, I don't really know what that entails. I guess they date. I don't know if any of them have ever gotten married or anything like that. I don't really know. Anyway, basically, these suckers, they all compete for one woman or one man that they don't even know if after they get finished competing, if they'll even like that dude or like that chick. It's like it really does make me think that it's not necessarily about winning a man or woman's heart at the end of the day. It's about winning a TV show, and then a man or a woman just happens to be the prize. You know what it's like? I'll tell you exactly what it's like. And the reason I know or assume is because I referenced this in a podcast a few weeks ago. It's like Flavor of Love is how I imagine the Bachelor or the Bachelorette to be. When I talked about Hoops kissing Flavor Flav, and now I don't see Hoops the same anymore. If you listen to that episode of the podcast, but I imagine the Bachelor or Bachelorette is similar to that, where you're not necessarily competing for Flavor Flav, you're just competing to win a TV show. So if you didn't watch Flavor of Love, you didn't miss anything. But that's what it makes me think of. If you did watch Flavor of Love, you're thinking, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So you're welcome. And even I think, well, I know back in the day on the episode of the podcast, because I'm making all of these references to old episodes, I remember me and Reggie talking about The Bachelor once or The Bachelorette once, even though neither one of us ever watched it. And I don't really know why we were talking about it. I think it was no, I know exactly why we were talking about it because there was a black bachelorette and she chose a white guy and all of the backlash they were getting for that, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it's a popular show, obviously. But the reason that I mentioned Brooke is because, in the Bachelorette Australia, is because Brooke is going to be the first Bachelorette with a mixed gender cast. So basically, instead of just competing, just having men competing for her heart, there'll be both men and women competing for it. I tell you what, you can't make some of this stuff up. Now, I'm not a person that's about I'm not a person that's even about competing for women. You know, there's no way in the world I'm standing next to 10 or however many guys there are that compete for the bachelorette's heart doing backflips to get a woman's attention. And some people might say that that's my downfall, the fact that I won't do backflips to get a woman's attention, but hey, whatever. And thinking about competing in my past, if I knew that a woman that I was interested in was dating somebody else, I would always just bow out gracefully. Now, don't get me wrong. Nowadays, in this era of dating online and all of this stuff, any man would be an idiot to think that he meets a woman online and think that that woman is only talking to you. And any woman would be even more of an idiot if they think that they meet a man online and that man is only talking to them. But remember what I said though. I said that if I knew that the woman was dating someone else, I bow out gracefully. Now, if I assume that the woman is dating somebody else, then that's cool. I just don't need to know it for fact that she's dating somebody else. I can assume it, I can think it, that's cool. Long as I don't know, we're good. And that reminds me of a previous episode of another previous episode of this podcast. It's like when I told Reggie the story of a woman that I met online that told me that she got off the phone with me because she got a call from another dude. So if I can't deal with knowing that a woman that I'm talking to is talking to other guys, even though I assume they are, I'm definitely not dealing with a woman that's talking to like 10 or again, however many dudes compete for the bachelorette's love or whatever. And in the case of the show, not just talking to them, but talking to the woman in front of my face. Nah, nah. And then on top of that, you add women to that mix, that makes it even worse. But I will say this though, while while competing with both men and women would lessen my chances of winning the bachelorette and winning the women's heart or whatever it is, it would make me feel as bad about going on the show. Now, it's like now the Neanderthal man of me is thinking, it's like, and I'm thinking, well, if the bachelorette chick isn't feeling me, maybe some of these other women competing for the bachelorette's heart, maybe they're bisexual and they give me a shot if things didn't work out with the bachelorette for them. It's like I would imagine that some, if not all, of the female contestants would be at least bisexual, right? But now that I think about it, if Brooke actually has a say in the matter, she probably just wants straight lesbians so that there wouldn't be any intermingling between the men and the women contestants. I would imagine. But I don't know if she picks because, again, I don't really know a whole lot about the show. But because I tell you what, again, if I'm a contestant on that show and there are 10 other women on that show too, I'm not even thinking about the Bachelorette anymore. I'll let the other dudes go out and break their necks to try to get at her. Hmm. But that's not the point. Um, the point's not what I'd do if I were on the show. The point is that it's hard enough in this world competing with members of the same sex for the affection of a woman. It's like, how in the world can I honestly compete with the opposite sex? It, it just naturally seems like the same sex person would have like all of these built-in advantages. Like in Brooke's case, when looking at the female contestants, it's like they can relate to each other emotionally and on a hormonal level. And of course, the women would be more sensitive than the guys are. It's like, and I don't think that guys have really figured out the whole sensitivity meter and have it dialed in. And what I mean by that is, I don't really know what's too sensitive or not sensitive enough when it comes to women. And I think that a lot of men feel that way. And it's like going back to the advantages that women have, even sexually, while women might lack some of the equipment that men have to offer, which gender would you think would know a woman's body better? Duh, another woman. And even when talking about the equipment that women might lack, and basically when I say that, what I'm talking about is a dick for people that might not have figured it out yet. And if you hadn't figured it out, I don't know what to say about you. It's like you don't even have to worry about it getting soft when you need it to get stiff, if you're dealing with a woman, because a woman would just have a strap on which stays hard forever, you know and that resonates, especially when referring to the demographic of this podcast, not necessarily strap-ons or anything like that, but a man's inability to get stiff or remain stiff or however that works. It's like that's the stiff thing or lack thereof is one of the biggest complaints that I hear from women at this age. It's like, and remember a couple of episodes ago to that point when I was talking to the doctor and he was trying to get me to take dick pills. And just in case you didn't listen to that episode or don't plan on listening to that episode, let me be clear. I don't need dick pills. You can go back to the episode for context. I don't remember the title of the episode, but I know dick pills was in the title. So if that's not a dead giveaway, hey, I don't know what else to tell you. Now, with that said, but if you're a woman and you're debating being with a man versus a woman, it's like you get a woman in a strap on and you're good. Like it worked for like Niecy Nash and her husband. It's like Google that because I'm not gonna get into the details of that if you don't know. Like she had two husbands, and then she decided to try a woman on, and look at her now. She's like giddy. At least for now, they only been married for like 6 months or something like that. So everybody's happy in the first 6 months, as I keep telling a friend of mine. But but it makes me wonder, going back to Niecy Nash in that situation though, if those guys, the two husbands, if they ever really had a chance. Hmm, I don't know. So with all that said, we're looking at the idea of me, a guy, competing with a woman for another woman. I'm definitely not going down that road if she's equally open to dating both. And this speaks to my ignorance, but for someone that's attracted to both genders, I wonder if they're equally attracted to both. That's interesting. I would, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. It's like, is it a feeling that you have? Like you like this set of things about men, you like this set of things about women, and the two I don't, and you just weigh the pros and cons and one wins out, or is it just based on an attraction, a feeling that you can't explain for one versus the other? Again, like I said, it's just speaking to my ignorance. But what I do know is if there's an equal attraction, if Brooke or whatever woman is attracted to both men and women and it's even, yeah, I'm out. I can't compete. Now, if you're a woman and you're attracted to men, but you have like a slight curiosity or an itch that you feel like you need to scratch every now and then with another woman, then I might hang around for a minute. And when I say I might hang around for a minute, what I mean is that I can't look at the possibility of us having a serious, long lasting relationship, like as in marriage. But we can kick it while you're trying to figure out which side you want to pick. But with that said, that's for women that might be interested in dating other women. If I'm if I met a woman that told me that she was interested in dating, not interested, but if I met a woman that told me that she was dating other guys, though, I definitely wish her well and just move on. I've done that before. But yeah, if a woman told me that she was talking to women at some point at the same time that we were talking, I think I might continue to see what's up with that. Like, honestly, I'd probably be thinking about the possibility of a threesome. Yeah, that's probably what that would come down to. And again, that's a Neanderthal guy in me. He comes out every now and then. He resides in every man, I guarantee you. So women don't think it's just me. It's every guy. It comes out every now and then. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, but the whole Brooke slash Bachelorette thing, that was just interesting to me, obviously, and it had me thinking about competing for someone's affection, and that's ultimately the point of this episode, just thinking about the whole process of competing for somebody else's affection. uh, and I've never been that dude really that's been into competing for women, just period. And to a certain extent, like I alluded to earlier, that might play into why I'm unmarried after all of these years. Like you see all of these love stories and stuff where the women are like, asked if it's like love at first sight, and they respond by saying like, no, I couldn't stand the dude when he first approached me, and now we've been married for like 14 years. He asked me out and I turned him down 50 times and all of that stuff. It's like you hear those stories and stuff all the time. And the guy, e- even though he's been turned down over and over and over again, he still pursues and pursues and pursues. And I guess he just catches her right, and she just relents and stuff like that, just catches her at a sensitive moment. Now, while that might not sound like competing in a direct sense, it does remind me of competing, because regardless of why the woman might reject the guy, whether it's another guy or not, the guy is still competing with either someone or something in those cases for her affection. It's like she's telling them no for a reason, and you're competing with whatever that reason might be. And then there are guys that will pursue or compete, since that's the theme of the show, not just if she makes it known that she's dating, but they'll pursue if she has a man. Now, it's one thing if you hear that she might be happy with her man, or if her man, or no, it's one thing if you hear that she's not happy with her man, or if her man is treating her poorly. To me, that's you're still competing, but you're competing, but you have a leg up in the competition with her man. Even though her man has more of a leg up because he has history with her. So you have a leg up, he has a leg up. So you got two legs up. I don't know how that works, but go figure. And I'll admit, in my younger day, I did compete with a woman's boyfriend. And even though she wasn't happy, she still just wouldn't lead a dude. So I was just left there being her sounding board while she would complain about him all the time. And then when I would dare to suggest that she would leave him, she'd be like, yeah, you're right. But then she just wouldn't leave. Then I bowed out, saw her years later, and then she was like, yeah, I finally did leave him. It's like, you think? It's like, maybe if I just hung in there and listened to her complain for like years more, maybe I would have won her heart. Maybe we'd be married today. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, that's regarding competing for women in unhappy relationships. But there are guys out there that are willing to compete for women even when she expresses happiness with her dude. It's like, I guess you can do that. And I guess guys do that. What what keeps them doing it is that they don't invest too much time in that particular woman. It's like they can invest enough time to just let the woman know, yo, I'm still here just in case your man messes up, while they're going about doing their own business and stuff like that. So that makes sense, I guess, when you think of it in that way, why you would pursue somebody who's already involved and claim to be happy, because eventually they're going to hit a rough patch. And then when they hit a rough patch, that might be your end. Maybe she'll think to call you. Who knows? But for me, all of that just involves too much energy. And honestly, especially at this age, I just feel like I'm lazy when it comes to women. And not that I'm lazy when it comes to relationships. I'm definitely not lazy in relationships, but lazy when it comes to like chasing or pursuing or competing for a woman. It's like that kind of goes back to the episode that me and Reggie had, again, referring to another episode about the four phases of dating and stuff like that, or four phases of relationships is what it was. Me and Reggie did that a while ago. And I guess I'm just not good at that chasing stuff. I think I determined in that episode that I'm not good at that chasing stuff. I think that was the first stage. I'm like, look, which is probably a bad way to start off by saying something. But I'm like, look, you want to go out? And the whole time while we're going out, I'm looking for signs that you like me. And then if you give me a sign, if you don't give me a sign, or if you play it too cool, I'm just like, oh well. And no sign, and don't get me wrong, no signs don't have to be sexual or anything like that, nothing extreme like that. It can be like something as simple as just like a simple touch on the arm while we're having conversation. Touch goes a long way, even if it's like platonic touching. If you're interested in a woman, and this is for you ladies, if you're interested in a dude, a boy, just touch him while you're talking. Boy, that'll give him all that he needs to know, or at least it should. If it doesn't, then he's a little tone deaf, and that's an issue that he has, not with you. Also, ladies, keep in mind if you are the touchy feely type and you're not interested in the dude, that can go in the wrong direction because if you're touching the dude too much while you're talking, that might make him think that he has a chance that he doesn't actually have. So use that appropriately. It's like having like some magical elixir, but you use it for good or you can use it for bad. Too much of anything can be bad for you. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. A simple touch that gives me all those signs that I need to know that I'm going in the right direction, and I can continue my competition to win your heart if I'm interested like that. Or one of the more obvious signs to let a man know that you're interested is if you initiate a date, ask him out. That's always a good sign. But nobody does that these days. Or actually, they do these days. Let me take that back. Actually, more and more women do that these days, now that I'm thinking about it. Still not enough for my taste, but it is what it is. But the point is, just waiting for me to call and waiting for me to ask you out, and you're just saying yes, that's not really enough to let me know that you're interested in me. And if I get enough of that, I'll just kind of like fall off the map and be like, well, either she's not interested or it's too much of a competition for whatever else she has going on for me to like even push that thing forward. Even if she's interested, but she's just not letting me know. I'll just assume that I'm in some competition that I'm losing or just takes too much effort. Anyway, as you can tell from listening to me ramble for the past 21, 22 minutes now, I have issues. Or maybe I don't have issues. Maybe I'm the one that has it all together and everyone else has the issues. Because people's ideas of dating slash competing for someone's heart is very interesting. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that nah, it's not just me. It's like people are crazy, at least when it comes to dating. And I think most people will agree with me on that, especially people in the dating pool. Now, that's all I have to say about that, to be honest. Now, but before I go, I want to say something to my brothers and my sisters, and to any white people listening, people in foreign countries, and things like that. You all can take this as your opportunity to sign off. I appreciate you listening more than you know, more than you will ever know. Even though I hadn't met you personally, I hope to meet you all personally one day. I don't know how that would happen, but it is what it is. If we come across and you mention anyway, go about your business, or you can eavesdrop if you want to. But this is a conversation amongst the black people. Okay, now that they're gone, and I'm going to assume that they're gone. Look, none of you all know Richardson. None of you all know Maria Taylor. It seems like those two people over the last couple of weeks are all that I've been hearing about. I don't know them personally. You don't know them personally. One person broke a rule and she's being punished for it. The other one is the subject of anger by a person that she passed over for a promotion. Really can't blame somebody for being mad when somebody passes you over for a promotion after you've been there for 20 years. Trust me when I say they'll both be fine, especially Maria Taylor, who's negotiating like between a like $3 and $8 million renewal of her contract. Yeah, they'll both be fine. But some of y'all, it just seems like look for reasons to just be mad. And not to say that anger isn't legitimate, you know, there aren't like legitimate reasons to be angry about certain things. But some of y'all just need to choose more wisely. These things aren't worth all of the debate, all the scrutiny, all the stuff that I'm seeing, reading. It's like I can't even avoid the mess. I don't want. Yeah, some of y'all just need to make better choices. These people will be fine in the grand scheme of things. These black people aren't the shields that we need to be dying on a hill. You know, let them do their thing and let them be great. That's all that I have for this. Happy Friday, happy weekend, everybody. Forgive all of the extra noises. It's raining out here, and I think you might have heard my neighbor's kids, even, which is weird that I live in a house and the houses are that close and they're screaming that loud that you can hear them. But if you didn't hear them, then never mind. Just ignore all of that. And I think my phone went off. I got a message. So there was all kind of weird stuff going on in the course of this recording. Forgive that and everything. And again, have a happy weekend. Have a safe weekend. Glad everybody, I'm assuming everybody survived July 4th. And I think I said that on Tuesday's episode. Never mind. I'm just vamping anyway. Have a great weekend. And until Tuesday, I will say, as I always say, first thing I will do is give Reggie the floor to say, to tell you all goodbye. Say goodbye, Reggie. Reggie didn't say anything, so I'll say goodbye. And I'll also say hit my music, even though the music is already playing. And until Tuesday, goodbye.